Hi, I'm Jeff Cioletti, Editor-in-Chief of Craft Spirits Magazine, and welcome to this edition of Craft Spirits TV. To say that 2020 has been challenging for everyone in the craft spirits industry would be a massive understatement. Everyone has had to figure out how to pivot on so many different levels, so much so that the term pivot, people are just getting tired of hearing it. But one of those who's found success in its own pivot is Barn Brandyworks in Portland, Oregon. I recently dropped by the distillery and they had some interesting news to share.
Well, it's been an unusual year for sure. We're the smallest distillery in Portland, and we're totally, grain to glass. We're not really in distribution. We're not really sold outside of Oregon and Washington. We sell almost exclusively one-on-one to customers at events and farmers markets. So it was pretty scary in March, April, June. When our bottle sales just sort of cratered into nothing. But we kind of, through a variety of different things, ended up patching together quite a bit of different contract work to do. And it's a little weird to do contract work as the smallest distillery in Portland, but we spent about 2 months making a sanitizer, which all got donated to the community. But because we don't handle bulk alcohol or sourced spirits or anything, it was all distilled from scratch from all sorts of crazy stuff. Some of it was made from organic ramen noodles that a local company donated that couldn't be consumed. We also distilled most of a shipping container of Italian wine that wine importer, it froze during transit. So it was had to be destroyed. It had nothing to do with COVID. And it just kind of happened to coincide with when everyone needed hand sanitizer. So we turned all of this super delicious, expensive Italian wine into hand sanitizer that we gave away. I don't know, there's so much crisis going on with all the different small businesses that we are sort of networked together with, that there's been tons of different interesting projects that have come out of that. We made a lot more apple brandy than we normally do because one of his clients went out of business and he's stuck with all of this fruit, so we kind of tried to figure out how we could do that. We distilled a bunch of beer that people had trapped in distribution in kegs and turned that into beer schnapps or into hand sanitizer. It's just been it's hard to believe 9 months have gone by. This is probably the longest I've spoken continuously in 9 months. So
What types of places are you distilling for under contract? Just other people that don't have their own stills?
It's almost exclusively wineries and cideries.
Okay.
So most of it is people looking to make fortified, vermouth or port or pommeau. Some of it is aging as beverage brandy, but it's very long-term vision type stuff where it's not going to come out for another 5 or 6 or 10 years. So we don't do, we're so small, it's really, and we're very focused on brandy. So it's kind of a niche thing where we're working with people who want to intentionally create a high-end kind of spirit from their own, usually estate fruit. That's kind of the appeal. Because we can never compete with, bulk brandy prices or source spirits prices. So it's people that have something special and want to preserve that and use it in kind of its own thing. So it's a lot of Oregon has, 800 wineries and 100 cideries. And mostly they're all kind of small family businesses. So we usually work with, 15 to 20 different wineries a year in various little dribs and drabs and special one-offs and that sort of thing. It's unpredictable, but if you can keep up with it, it's a lot of fun. We never spend any money on a build out. We don't have a restaurant or a bar. I'm the only employee these days, other than the owner's nephew who is working because college is essentially canceled for, young people. So we're a pretty lean operation, and we're just trying to see. And fortunately, if you make, whiskey and brandy, you don't have to sell it. If you're not going to go out of business, you don't have to sell it. It just gets older, when it gets better. So trying to take the long-term vision to everything.
I want to thank Andy Garrison for letting me drop by. Last time I was there, it was pre-pandemic, so as you can see, some things have changed, but they're still chugging along. And it's pretty remarkable considering that they are essentially the smallest distillery in Portland, and to be getting that much contract business is remarkable. Thank you again for joining me today, and hope to catch you on the next edition of Craft Spirits TV.